Now today we're going to have a chat about camp cooking, what we use when we take the tiny camper out, what we've found that works really well for us and what we can do basically anything when we go away, and it's just not using the induction cooktop. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Daryl and welcome to the channel. Now today we're going to have a chat about what we use when we go camping. If you notice in our camper, we don't have an inbuilt cooker in the galley. There's a couple of reasons for that. The main reason is it takes away from prep space, and for me in a galley in these things, it's not big enough to have a reasonable size of prep space and storage and cooking facilities. So I'd prefer not to have it there. And it also means that we're not locked into whatever is inset into the bench in these things. The main thing, however, though, that I dislike immensely with regards to having hot plates in these galleys is that the splatter that comes out from them. If you've got a hot plate, whether be that gas or induction, most of the time it's shallow frying, and with that comes splatter. And if you're doing anything with meat in it or sauces, you will get splatter, and even if you have stainless steel backing around that hot plate, it's still going to get dirty and horrible, and after a while it'll get into the corking and it's just not a good look. So for me, I'd rather not have that sort of stuff in the galley. Yes, at the moment, and I won't say too much, but at the moment we probably still use a small table to put this on, but we're not dragging around the massive big white plastic thing that most people you see have one at the back or the side of their camper. Dislike them immensely. I just don't see the need for them if you can have a good design camper. Anyway, for cooking. For us, we've got an induction hot plate. Now, I've done a video on running this on a 100 amp lithium battery. It is doable if you bring down the heat setting on these things, and you can probably get these heat settings down from their 2000 watts, which this is, to about 1200. Works quite well. And with a 100 amp lithium battery, this one worked really nicely. This is a $59 induction cooktop from IKEA. I do notice they've got a newer one out that seems to be about half the depth, which I do have my eye on. I might go and buy one, but at the moment this works really well for us, and it has worked so well that in the rental we were living in before we moved into our new home, we were using this day in, day out because the cooktop there was atrocious and this was so much better. So I can't say enough good stuff about this. The downside with this in an off-grid camping situation is that you need AC shore power, so you need a battery bank and you need an inverter. But with the price of those coming down so much nowadays, I don't see it as a bad thing. So for us, we use this as a hot plate. So anyway, that's our induction hot plate. The problem that I have though is, by a lot of people nowadays, and you see it online saying, oh, I run induction cooking and that's all I use. That's fine, but you've limited yourself to boiling, maybe steaming, or shallow frying everything. And whilst there is a massive range of recipes out there online and a massive lot of people on YouTube showing you what you can cook at camp on these types of things, or the large scottles that are so popular in the US market, I don't get the scottle. I just don't get the scottle. It's something that you've got to spend time putting together, and at the end of the day, you've got a really big fry pan. And yes, the reason you can push things to the side and they'll stay warm is because it's a really big fry pan with a heat source in the middle. That's it. The whole scottle thing I don't get. With cookware, because we're using other stuff other than just this, when we go away with the two of us, that's our fry pan and that's our saucepan. That's it. That's all we take. Our cooking implements are a plastic scraper and a pair of tongs. That's it. Apart from that, we have knives and forks and things like that. But for hot plates and cooking equipment, that's all we take. And you know, it's so small, it's really easy to package. The thing that has made all the difference though, with regards to this, is this item. And it's a Weber BBQ. And yes, you'll look at it and go, oh, that's quite large. But this does everything. We don't need to carry a whole heap of cooking ware because we can do it in that. So let's get this thing out of its carry case. And the beauty with this Weber Q, and I think it's marketed in Australia as a baby Q, and I think it's a 1200 Q1200 or something overseas. Let's just get it out and we can have a quick look at it. Now we carry this Weber BBQ around in this bag. We clean it before we pack it in the bag. I can strap it down in the galley onto the bench, or I just throw it inside onto the bed. Because it's all clean and it's in a nice clean bag, it doesn't really matter where it goes. It weighs about 10 kilos. And before, there's a whole heap of people saying that, oh, I have a cast iron camp stove I do on an open fire. A large one of those weighs the same as this, and you need an open fire. And with the way things are going, a lot of the time you can't get an open fire. So something to think about. So set up on this. When you get that out of the bag, apart from connecting that to its gas cylinder, and as a gas cylinder, we've got a 4 kilo gas cylinder. I was going to get a 2 kilo one, just because it was smaller and lighter. However, the 2 kilo one, it was the same price basically, so I just bought the 4. Now, apart from connecting this up to the gas cylinder, we're ready to cook. Try that with your skottle. Now once you've got this set up and connected to the gas, you're good to go. There's 2 models with this. There's one without the temperature gauge and one with. The one with is worthwhile getting because it also has a higher lid and you can fit more in it. Now when you open this up from the factory, these come with a full grill that's split in half. You can buy a half plate, and I'd suggest you do that. We tend to run with just the half plate and half grill, and that means we can do most of our cooking in here and we don't have to even use the induction cooktop, and with that comes less washing up. All you've got to tidy up then is this. With regards to any fats or anything that come out of the barbecue, there's a tray that comes out. You can put a foil tray in that after you use it and it gets a bit grotty, you can just throw it away and put a new foil tray in it. So it's really simple to use. With cleaning out this, you just take the grills out and clean up the inside. When we're traveling, we take these out of the barbecue because they tend to just float around and I don't want to break anything inside. The burner is a stainless steel burner in here. These things just last forever. They're such a good thing. And what I like about these is that you can cook most anything in it. If I put both grills there, you can get a trivet from Weber that you place here. It's basically just a little grill with a foil tray underneath that's got holes, and on top of that you can place, you know, all your roasts and everything like that. It also means that by having the foil tray under here, a lot of the waste that comes out of your cooking will just sit on here, so you're not dirtying up the rest of the barbecue. You can just use a piece of foil though, I have seen that used. With this you could cook a roast chicken. Roast chickens are good because you can have the roast chicken for a meal and then strip the carcass of the bird and have the meat on sandwiches for the next day. You can fit a whole chicken on here and some potatoes and the like, so you could have roast chicken with baked potatoes. Works really, really well. I also do a lot of fish in this. I tend to just wrap the fish in foil, put whatever spices and the like inside the packet, and it just cooks lovely. But when you are cooking with these Weber Qs, you cook with the lid down. If you're used to grills where you just grill on a plate, it won't get hot enough. You put your whatever you're cooking inside and then close the lid, and that includes if you're doing steaks or sausages or whatever. That's the best way to do it. With steaks in this, these cook a lovely steak. I'm pretty fussy with my steaks, and these are just awesome. Roast pork, these do an awesome crackling on the outside of the pork. Now when you go away, there's nothing better than making fresh bread, and that's what we're doing today. We're making some bread rolls. I generally buy these kits because it's all weighed up, all the flour and everything, so there's 600 gram loaves in that kit. But the reason I buy that is because this is pre-packaged. So whilst it may look like a package of cocaine, it's actually flour, but taking that away on a camping trip is simplicity itself. The yeast is also pre-packaged. I don't have to measure anything. We're good to go. So apart from that, we need a couple of eggs. We need 350 mils of water, and the water's got to be warmish. So I just bring it up to temp on the hot plate. Into that I put a sprinkling of sugar and then dump the yeast into that. Wait for 5 or 10 minutes to the yeast to foam up. The yeast works off the sugar and ferments itself. You then just dump it all into a bowl or a saucepan even. Mix it all up and then just knead it out for 5 or 10 minutes until it's quite pliable. Stick it back in the saucepan or a bowl, put a tea towel over it, and then just let it prove for 40 minutes to an hour. Once it's had its first proven, it should double in size. Then take that dough, break it up into say 10 balls, roll them up, put them on a tray and let it prove for another 40 minutes, and you'll end up with something like this. And we're ready to cook this, and cooking time will be about 12 to 15 minutes. So we open the gas, turn this on to full. Light it, it's lit. Close it, and we wait for this to come up to temp. So we've got the temp up to 170, and you can see why this gauge is a really good thing. So at the moment we'll whisk this egg up. We'll open her up, put the trivet down, and we'll lay our buns down on that. And that's baking paper, so that'll be okay in there. Now all we need to do is to put some egg over the top of these. Close the lid, and we'll give it about 12 to 15 minutes. So during the cooking we've altered the temperature with the knob on the side. It's come down to about half to keep it around the 190 degrees. But if we turn that off now, we can open it up. And we have 9 crusty bread rolls, which look rather good. Now as you can see, by making this bread, not only can you have fresh bread every day at camp, and it's so simple, and it's apart from the waiting around for it to prove, that takes a little bit of time, but steaming hot bread, how good is that? Now with our camper, by not having anything hard mounted into it, it also means if something goes wrong with the cooktop or this, we can just get it fixed or replace it, and we don't have to worry about, oh, how are we going to fill the hole in properly, or it's like at home when you need a new refrigerator, will it fit? We don't have those problems, and that's why I quite like this. And within the caravan fraternity, a lot of people are now not putting in ovens when they're speccing their caravans. They're having these put outside on a slide, which is really good. Crunchy bread rolls, how good are they? So I hope that helped someone out today. What I'll do is I'll stop eating, and I'll just put what we take away to cook on this little table and show you what we have. All right, let's go through everything that we take when we go camping with regards to cooking. And this may make you double think all the drawers that you think you need in a galley on one of these, because I don't think we'd fill them if we had them. But anyway, let's just go through what we take. So with regards to the induction side of it, we take our single induction hot plate, we take a small saucepan and a fry pan. That does everything we need. Whether we're cooking pasta, we can cook that in here. There's only 2 of us, so this is all we need. We've got a plastic scraper, barbecue scraper, and a pair of tongs. Now with regards to the Weber Q, we've got our Weber Q, we've got a 4 kilogram gas cylinder. To go with the Weber Q, we've got our trivet, and we've got a half barbecue plate. And most of the time, if we're using it as a grill, we'd have the half barbecue plate on and the half grill plate on. When we use it with the trivet to do roasts or the like, we'll probably put both grill sides on. So that's all our camping gear, and you can see how little we really take away. And we've churned out some lovely meals on this. The pork crackling out of this Weber is superb, you won't beat it. When we went away, it was a while back, and there's a video when we went away to wine country. I'll link to it up here. We finished going around the wineries, and it was like, do we go out to a restaurant or do we just go back to the camper, have a meal, you know, have a wine and just retire for the night? And we decided on the latter because it had been quite an expensive day. We went to the local supermarket on the way back and bought, there was a small roast in a foil container. We also bought some pre-chopped up potatoes and pumpkin and the like. We bought a small ready-made gravy. Took the plastic off the foil containers, just threw them in here. Took about 3/4 of an hour. Near the end of the cook, we just opened up the gravy, poured it on the roast, let it finish cooking, and it was superb. And it cost like 10 or 15 bucks for the 2 of us. It was, you know, a really lovely hearty dinner for a very cold night for not a lot of money and not a lot of mucking around either. It was, you know, you throw it in here, go and sit in front of the fire with a glass of red. I mean, it was such an easy thing to do and such a good quality meal for little output. This is us and our cooking needs. I hope that helps someone out with regards to either designing kitchens in, you know, tiny campers, or decisions on what you're going to buy with regards to your camping experience yourself. I hope that helps someone. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.